What's up, folks? It's me again with another earphones review, and this time I will be reviewing an earphone which was released recently and has built, in my opinion, an unprecedented hype, and I will be reviewing them. So I couldn't pass. I had to buy and I had to see them myself, and I will be reviewing it, and that is BLON 03, with the long name being BL, there you go, BL-03, or as we will call it, BLON. So these BLONs have only one driver. It has a solo unit, one driver, dynamic driver. As you know, most of the earphones that I reviewed, they have multi-drivers. They're multi-driver earphones. So how come a single driver earphone can be talked this much and can be, well, allegedly this successful? So let's get started and find out. Alright, first thing first, with the box unboxing. Here you go, this is the presentation. Alright, music and rhymes. This is also quite popular nowadays. See, I went with the white steel color. I think it's looking nicer. There you go, just a white box. Here you can see it has just one 10mm dynamic driver. 10mm is kind of large unit for an in-ear earphones. So let's open it and let's see. Also, you see it has a nice build quality. So your earphones will be here. Of course, I've been listening to them for a while. And that's basically it. Here is the smaller box. Let's open it. First comes a carrying pouch, a velvety pouch here. It says BLON 2014. That doesn't mean these were made in 2014. That means it refers to the company being established in that year. Let's move on, continue. And the stock cable, the crappy cable. Yes, bad news. Spoiler already, but yeah, the cable isn't that good. And the stock ear tips, you see, small, large, medium. And, oh yeah, and the books. And shit, the reading manual, just throw it away. That's basically it. So let's get started. Like everything I reviewed, they also have things that I like and things that I don't like. So let's get started with the things that I don't like first. The build quality, like I said, is good, but how come there's something that I don't like about them? Well, here's the thing that I don't like about them. See the tip? You see, if you have watched my video where I reviewed the Revonex QT2s, let me show you. I think every manufacturer needs to take example of the design of the Revonex QT2s. Look at the connection. There you go. And look at these. You see? These are more protected because they're inside the shell and inside the housing, so making them less vulnerable, less fragile to breaking. However, these are not like that, and this just the tip here is kind of looking suspect. I don't know. That doesn't mean it will break up, but especially if you're using with a different cable. Let me show you. That will better explain. Let me find another cable with 0.78 millimeter. There you go. Look, the original cable, the stock cable, let me show you that. That kind of prevents this by having this design. You see, it goes inside the plastic housing, so basically giving them some sort of protection. But if you decide to use, which you should be deciding to use, different cable, because the stock cable isn't that good, unfortunately. If you do it like this with another cable, there you go. Is it the right one? Let me see. This is right. What is this? Ah, right. Okay. So there you go. Do you see the opening? Now there is no protection. This is prone for breaking, in my opinion. Maybe my standards increased after reviewing Rivonex QT2s, but this is definitely not looking strong. You see, there's a lot of distance here, so that is likely to break apart at some point. So that is the first thing that I don't like about these earphones. So moving on, the other thing that I don't like is, let me show you with the other one, unusually short nozzles. I mean, look at this. Let me give you an example. This is a really like huge gripe that I have. It's really a big handicap for blondes. Why? Because the nozzles are too short. When you want to change the stock ear tips with other ear tips, which you will do probably, because the stock ear tips usually suck, especially for chi-fi or budget earphones. When you want to change them, replace them with a different ear tips, you will be having problems. Why? Well, first of all, not every ear tip is compatible. You will have to find the different ear tips, but let me give you a different example. Maybe this will be better. Yeah, especially the foam ear tips. If you want to use them with the foam ear tips, the foam ear tips are good for sticking in your ear, staying inside. But however, because they're short, the nozzles are too short, the chances are, as you pull them out of your ear, the chances are they might just remain inside your ear. Or if you try, maybe not really with these foam ear tips, but with other types of ear tips, this is an issue. I tried different ear tips and I had this problem. Don't panic, you can still just pull them out of your ear, but still this is a problem. They're just unnaturally short. Let me give you an example. There you go. See the difference? Just making them really uncomfortable or inconvenient to try with other ear tips, which is a huge problem. But I have found this different, like, modded ear tip solution. It's not bad, because it also maximizes the performance of the earphones. I think, in my opinion, it isn't bad, but you have to mod. This is a modded ear tip, so it will be a struggle for you. Really, it will be a struggle for you to find a good ear tip for these earphones. And you see, even these fall off easily. But they give better sound compared to especially the foam ear tips. I don't recommend you to use foam ear tips unless you want to kind of tame the bass on these. No need to use foam ear tips, but these are better. What are these? These are modded KZ Star ear tips. So I don't like KZ. I tried a few, I reviewed one even, and I don't like them. So I just by chance I happened to find an old KZ earphones along with KZ Star ear tips. So I just modded them. I will link the tutorial video in the description so that you can find it yourselves too. And they work the best in my opinion so far, but still it's still a struggle. Why? Because the nozzles are too short and they tend to come out. They tend to fall off at some point. So big problem about these. I'm sure there's a reason regarding the small nozzles, short nozzles. It's because it's mostly due to the sound signature, or maybe this having one dynamic driver, so not to lose the sound quality. Maybe they went with this option, but giving us problems. Moving on. So the next thing, the bass. Yes. Well, this isn't technically really a huge, or objectively maybe a bad thing, but the bass on these is kind of boomy, a little bit boomy. And is this something bad? Well, it's kind of bad, a little bit bad. Depends. If you're a bass lover, you might maybe enjoy it, but to me it feels like it kind of leaks into mids, and the decay regarding bass is low in my opinion. So it's just a little bit of, maybe there's a little bit of improvement for this aspect of the bass. It isn't bad, like I said, but compared to the overall sound quality of these, you might notice it. You might notice this. So that's the one thing about the sound, and I think actually this is the only thing, that negative thing that I can say about these earphones, the BLONs, regarding the sound quality. That's basically it. And the last thing that I don't like, we already mentioned the ear tip issue due to the nozzles. The last thing that I don't like is the crappy cable. I haven't been using these cables for a long time. I've used this for only a couple of days probably before I changed, and towards the end of those couple of days, less than a week, they started to, the left side I think, started to break up. So not good. Even for a stock cable, it's not that good. So that's basically all the things that I don't like about BLONs, the famous BLONs. So let's get to the things that I do like. There are plenty of them. First thing first, build quality. Really good, as you can see. Metal housing, shiny, quite, striking. If you're looking for a shiny, catchy earphones for some reason, I don't know, maybe you just like shiny earphones, I don't know. If you like shiny earphones, then yes, these are really striking, catchy. Every time I put them on and went outside, I noticed people were looking. So yeah, they're definitely attracting attention. And the other thing that I like is really good performance for a single driver earphone. This is really good. Really, everything is really well balanced, really well tuned, I would say. The bass has really good punch to it. The mid bass is really punchy, a little bit decay, like I said, but really, really good, and it will probably please almost everyone in terms of bass. And the mids are not recessed. Usually one thing they do to even more emphasize bass is to give them a V-shaped signature with the earphones, so the bass is felt or heard a lot more foregrounded. But here with these, this is not the case. The mids are not recessed at all. They're quite, airy, quite there, but sounds a little bit different compared to my 10 mux. I don't know how to explain this. Maybe a little darkish here, a little different, but nothing I would say in a negative or positive manner. It's just different, a little bit different, and the depth and the detail is really good. Like I said, I was impressed because they only have one dynamic driver and that's it. That's all. But even so, the highs are really good, and the highs are kind of bright. They're there, present, but they're not sibilant. They're not, there aren't any pierces regarding the highs, which is also really good. It has a warmth characteristics, not the warmest, but a little bit on the warmer side. So really good detail, really, good clarity. Instrument separation isn't bad. It's also really good. So overall, these are the things I like and the things I don't like about these earphones. So my opinion, or in conclusion, is in this price range, and by the way, it is around $25 nowadays, $25. This is a really successful product, and we should not forget that all these detailed sound, the depth, the warmth characteristics, the clear highs not being sibilant at all, and a strong punchy bass, everything comes from a single driver, single dynamic driver. So this is a success in that sense. This is it's a go in that way. It's a win. So therefore, I think it really deserves all the hype. I would say, yeah. So the hype wasn't just exaggerated, or these are not overrated earphones at all. Yeah, they're really good, especially considering the price range and the fact that it's a single driver unit. So well, let's get to the most important question. Is it better than my all-time favorite so far, all-time champ, the 10 Mach Pros? Because I'm sure some of you are already asking this. And yes, of course, I need to compare them because they're also closer to one another in terms of characteristics. So let's get to it. Well, can BLON replace my favorite earphones? And the short answer is, to a great extent, yes. Yes, you didn't hear me wrong. Yes, they can. So let's get to the quick comparison. First thing first. Well, the build quality, you see these are plastic. They have plastic housing, metal. Definitely metal is much more, solid. And though I prefer MMCX rather than the 2-pin, still, this is a go. When it comes to bass, the bass is strong with both of these. I would say the mid bass on these, they're not, the decay is better. These are faster, tighter bass. Mid bass is also nice. These are a little bit boomy, but they have better sub bass extension as well, slightly better, and you still might enjoy that slightly boomy bass. And if it's really disturbing you, you can simply use the foam ear tips. That will basically tame it. But if you don't want to lose any of that bass, and if you're totally fine with a little bit boomy, not all, and this isn't always like this. Sometimes you can hear it, and if you're totally okay with that, then yes, again, these are a go. When it comes to mids, I like the fact that the BLONs are not recessed when it comes to mids. they're a little bit different. The mids sound a little bit different, but I cannot tell. It's really difficult to explain, honestly. But I cannot tell, like it's like, you know, this is metallic, this is warm, something like that. But I can maybe say this is a little bit darker, but different. However, they're not recessed, so it's still doable for me. Still not a disadvantage, not a lose against the 10 max. And when it comes to highs, strangely, this is the part that BLON wins over. Why? Because having stronger highs tend to result in having better clarity as well. So these have little less highs. I don't know why, but I never had any issues. Like I said, I'm not into strong highs anyway. So I was totally fine with that. But after listening to these and some other like quad driver, triple driver earphones that I reviewed, I noticed that they lack some clarity, some depth. So when it comes to the comparison between the two, well, the BLON definitely has better highs and better clarity, and although they're high, the highs are, well, high, they're not sibilant, which I like. They're closer to the edge of being sibilant from time to time, but they're never sibilant, not to my ears at least. So I like them because that stronger highs also gives them clarity. And overall, I would say, well, when you just, add all these things, all these differences together, I guess the BLON is the winner in this comparison. And yes, they finally, I would say, they have replaced. Well, I never said it officially, but yes, they have replaced my 10 max, because ever since I started using them, ever since I started using the BLONs, I am noticing now that I haven't used 10 max. I have only used 10 max for comparison purposes, but other than that, these have become my daily drivers. I've been using them daily instead of 10 max, so I can finally get rid of my 10 max and I guess switch to these, continue with these. So yes, this is a win, and it will be my daily driver, or so it seems. It's going to be my daily driver because I'm already using them almost every day. So, well, conclusion. Like I said, I haven't used 10 max ever since I started using them. So if an earphone can overthrow your daily driver, your favorite earphones that you have been using for a long time, that means those earphones are really, really good earphones. And in the case of BLON, it really deserves being talked this much, having this much hype, and it really deserves. So I have tested and I agree. Yeah, it deserves that hype, and it lives up to the expectations to a really great extent. I don't know. So of course the expectations are subjective, but in my case, yes, it really lives up to the expectations. I guess I don't need to say more. And I've done the review, I've done the comparison. If you are considering to buy these earphones, but you were indecisive about it, maybe you're wondering if there's anything better. Probably there's always something better. Or if you want to try something not BLON, maybe similar, I'm not sure. Maybe Urban Fun has a new earphones. I don't have them, but the model name is ISS014, and just to remind you of the Urban Fun, I have them here also. Remember Urban Fun? I love these earphones, and I really, don't even want to use them because I fear that they will just break or something will happen. They're really good. They're really good. The only bad thing is they're not detachable, and I also replaced the stock ear tips with the rock zircon silicone ear tips, which they don't even produce anymore, sadly. So these really rock. They're really amazing. I love them. I don't listen to them that much. But if you also have tried, if you own or have tried these earphones, and if you ever wished that the Urban Fun had something like these earphones, but in a detachable version, so that I wouldn't have to worry about the cable breaking up and things like that, or maybe you just want to upgrade to a Bluetooth cable and use them like this. So if you ever were thinking about something like that, then you're in luck, because Urban Fun has this new model, and as far as I understand, I haven't tried, but as far as I understand, they are very similar to those earphones. But yeah, maybe they might be an alternative to these. But as of this day, right now, today, if you ask me which earphones is my favorite, I will say these. These are my favorites, everyday drivers, my daily drivers. I've been using them on a daily basis. So yeah, and especially for this price range, and I think it's right now $25. And if you were indecisive between choosing Tanmak or this, well, I would say definitely buy Blons, because Tanmaks are, ever since they were released, they were in the market, I think the producers of Tanmak never actually did any sort of discounts, and they're still around $25. If you're paying the same price, I would say buy the Blons. Buy them. You will not regret. For this price, you will definitely not regret. So that's basically the my review of BLON 03s. And if you like the video, you can hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button, so that you can stay tuned for the new reviews. See you in another one.